After losing the grandfather who raised her, a young woman discovers she's pregnant. Years later, her daughter begins to recall memories she couldn't possibly know. Memories of a life that once belonged to someone else. When I was 6, my parents divorced. Mom worked double shifts to make ends meet, and Dad disappeared somewhere between cities and new families. So I spent most of my childhood with my grandfather. He replaced everything for me: a father, a best friend, and sometimes even a mother. He was a retired mechanic, loved to fix everything, and always smelled of iron, apples, and something warm. The three of us, Mom, Grandpa, and I, lived in a small house on the outskirts. I knew that Mom loved us. She was just tired all the time. But Grandpa was always there. He taught me to ride a bike, read, tie shoelaces, and even how to properly boil eggs in a soft bag. We were a real team. We baked pancakes together on Sundays, built huts in the garden together, danced together to old Elvis records in the kitchen, waving our arms and spinning until we fell over laughing. Our dances in the kitchen were something sacred. Sometimes he would put on old Elvis or Ray Charles records and, laughing, take my hands. "Ready, partner?" "Ready, Captain," I would answer. He would put me on his shoes and we would spin. We called it Boom Boom Step. It was our secret. At 24, I met my first love and got married. My grandfather walked me to the altar. Now I am writing these lines and tears are welling up in my eyes. It was so touching. I remember that moment as if it were yesterday. But time is merciless. When I was 26, my grandfather was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I went to see him almost every day. I sat by the bed, read aloud to him, stroked his hand. He was melting before my eyes, and it was the hardest thing I'd ever seen. He died 6 months later. A hellish 6 months that I will never forget. Taking care of a seriously ill person is always difficult, but it is a million times worse when it is the closest person in your life. Who, moreover, was full of life and energy just a month ago. After his death, I could not come to my senses for a long time. My husband and I went on vacation because I was exhausted both mentally and physically after such a difficult period, because my grandfather had been dying for almost 6 months. I felt terrible, as if something alive had died inside me, as if I would never be the same again. We went on a cruise to the Bahamas. One hot day, I fell asleep on the deck while sunbathing, and I dreamed that my grandfather was leading a little girl of about 3 by the hand. I woke up perplexed. This dream puzzled me then. I thought for a long time about what it could mean. And a week after returning home, the pregnancy test showed 2 stripes. The pregnancy was strange, not difficult, rather mystical. I did not have toxicosis, almost nothing hurt, not even my back. But there were dreams with my grandfather. He came and sat with me, said something incoherent but calming. Sometimes he just held my hand. Of course, it was very symbolic for me. I felt that my grandfather was nearby. I don't know how to explain it, but I just knew that he was watching. Of course, maybe this happens to everyone who loses loved ones. But I did not even want to go to the cemetery. I just did not want to accept the fact of his death. I felt that he was nearby. Sometimes it seemed to me that I was going crazy. Other times I blamed everything on the pregnancy, hormones, and so on. But it is a fact. Throughout the pregnancy, I felt his presence. I do not know how else to explain it. After 9 months, I gave birth to an amazing daughter. The birth went quickly. When I first held Marta in my arms, it seemed to me that she was looking straight into my soul, as if she recognized me. We named her Marta, a beautiful name which, by the way, also came to me in one of my dreams. In general, she is a magical girl. Her appearance saved me from depression and God knows what else. I now have a reason to continue living and enjoying life. Marta grew up incredible, a little princess, as gentle as a flower. I was really very lucky, and she was not a capricious child. Despite the signs that if pregnancy is nervous and exciting, the child will be whiny and restless. Yesterday, Marta turned 3. She was sitting on the kitchen floor and decorating a wooden spoon with felt tip pens. I was washing something at the sink when suddenly she said, "Mom, do you remember our signature dance in the kitchen when I was big and you were little?" I froze. What? But she turned away and continued coloring as if nothing had happened. No matter how much I tried to get her to repeat it, she looked at me as if she didn't understand what I was talking about, as if she had forgotten what she had said. Since yesterday, I have been trying to decide to share this incident with someone. I am sitting in the bedroom and my hands are shaking. Marta couldn't have known about our signature dance. She just couldn't. Maybe I was having auditory hallucinations. Maybe she said something different then. But I'm sure I heard what I heard. How can I explain this? Do you believe in reincarnation? Oh my God, I don't believe I'm writing this seriously. But maybe someone has encountered something similar? I can't get it out of my head. I constantly look at Martha, listen to what she says. But she behaves like an ordinary child. I don't understand. What exactly did I hear?